I'm going to investigate this particular concept, and then I'm going to look at it in these two different ways, and then use that to reflect upon the knowledge that I've just read about. So the subsequent paragraphs are certainly going to outline that, and I'm going to need to see you provide me with clear textual examples of the analysis and the concepts that you're writing about, because otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, you're simply just kind of doing some weird kind of personal narrative of something that you've not read and are just kind of like bullshitting about, right? So while I don't want huge block quotes from the text, rather I want kind of like paraphrases or summaries of the text, but clearly showing me that you have read the text and are using it for your analysis. And then your final paragraph is going to be a reflection in which you reflect upon how those readings relate to the assignments that we're working on currently, and they should, in very particular ways, or a reflection of how you have found the readings to make you question or rethink the way that one thinks about research or writing, or even maybe questions or, kind of like statements where you're like, I might have like understood this, but I don't really know as if I understood or agree with these other components to the readings. So other than that, every other assignment other than the course reading responses will be double-spaced, 12-font, 1-inch margins, and an appropriate font, such as Time New Romans. Other than that, the other thing that I want you to be aware of is that I have my personal phone number on the syllabus, and I have that for a reason. I'm all over campus. It's, not typical that I'm in the office or the right zone, and so I wanted to make sure that you had that, but certainly be professional and give me a chance to respond to your email first before using that phone number. When you do send me emails, be aware that I respond to them around typical work hours. So 8 in the morning till around 6 at night is when I'm going to be responding. So if you shoot me a question frantic about the assignment that's due, the next day and it's 3 a.m., I'm not going to be getting back to you. The immediacy that we have nowadays is such that we kind of almost expect everybody to have the same schedule or to have like seen and responded to things that we've sent, and that's just kind of like not the way that the world works, especially, with me when I have, I have 3 children and I teach and I work and I try to have somewhat of a social life, right? So also, because I am so active across campus and because I teach and I direct the Right Zone and work with a lot of faculty, I receive routinely around 100 emails a day. And so that means that I have to be selective in the way that I respond to my emails. So if you send me an email saying, hey, teach, or hey, quick question about my research paper, that's going to go in the bottom of my list because I don't know who this is from, right? But if you say English 3010 section, whatever, your name and a particular question or concern that you have, then I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say, oh, okay, I know who this is. This is important. I'll respond to this person within the day, which I do if I have like a clear subject line. So really keep that in mind when you are sending me email questions or email requests. Other than that, I want you to make sure that you take a very good look at Blackboard, go through and look at all the project folders, look at the syllabus, the scheduled readings and due dates, and even please look at the videos, because I know that, videos can be somewhat boring maybe, or you don't think that they're that important. But it's information that I would typically give to you in a classroom during a regular classroom lecture, or, kind of like an overview of the assignment where we work together to understand what's being asked. And in fact, I typically have screen captures where I will walk you through particular documents, or I'll send you to particular websites, or I'll walk you through a student paper and say, here's what's working and here's what's not working and why. And so it's very important for you to look at those videos. And if you send me an email saying, hey, I don't really get this assignment, and it's asking me to do something that I don't know how to do, my first response to you is going to be, well, did you watch the videos? Because they should outline to you, for instance, what an Ignite presentation is and how you get started. Now, of course, I'm still going to respond if you have these questions and they're legitimate, but if it seems evident to me that you've not watched any of the videos, that's going to be what I'm going to respond to first. Other than that, keep me in the loop if there's something going on. I've routinely had students that, just drop off the face of the earth, and then in 4 weeks come back and say, this horrible thing happened to me, or, I've been having crazy depression and anxiety and I just couldn't function. And at that point, it's too late, right? You've missed so many assignments, and I've had no idea what was going on. So if something happens, please let me know. I try really hard to be understanding. For instance, if you're somebody who's been routinely turning in your assignments, it's evident that you've been working hard in the class, and you email at me and you say, hey, I have this Orgo exam. It is literally on the same day that this paper for your class is due. I'm wondering if there's any way that I can either turn it in early. Yeah, right, okay. But, or if I could turn it in the next day. It's more than likely that I'll probably say yes if you've been, working and doing the stuff that you're supposed to be doing for the class. It's not like I don't get how important some of these classes are, and the fact that you only have 1 or 2 exams to, and that's your grade. Trying to think if there's anything else that I have to say. Oh, the last thing that I would say is that, as you'll see, every assignment that you submit is going to go through safe assignment. And a lot of students see that as being me checking for plagiarism, which of course I do, but I mean, typically it's been very, very rare that I've had students plagiarize. What I do use them for is to see whether or not you're making revisions, and if you're continuing and adding on with your writing. So what it does, it allows me to see how well what you've submitted matches the prior document that you've submitted. So for instance, in the literature review, where I give you multiple times to add and revise your literature review, if, say, your third submission is shockingly similar to your first submission, I'm just going to send it back to you and say, I'm not accepting this. You've done nothing. So you need to be very aware that that's actually how I typically use safe assignments, and I can see, to the percentage what you've changed and what you haven't, and it's highlighted for me, and I can go through and look at both versions. And so that's the way that I use it, and this class is very much predicated on writing being a process. You hear this all the time, but are usually typically, as a student, not given the chance to use writing as a process, to get feedback, to revise, to add on, and to have, low stakes assignments that move you towards a final project that hopefully you're very happy with, and something that you've, struggled along the way, but that's been okay because you haven't been demoted in points because of that struggle. So use that, and I'm going to expect you to use that. And so if I don't see significant improvement or revisions, I'm not accepting it. So keep that in mind. Other than that, please get a hold of me if you have any questions. I know that online courses can be somewhat difficult to navigate at first. I might think that my assignment descriptions and my instructions make perfect sense, But for any of us who's ever tried to even put together, say, a side table through IKEA, we all know that that's never the case, right? So I accept and understand that you might be a bit confused, or, I might not make sense in the way that I'm explaining something. And so reach out to me through email. Let me know when you have questions or are struggling. I look forward to working with you this semester, and I hope you're enjoying the rest of the summer weather that we've been having.